And we're recording.
Welcome everyone to the Township Council Workshop, Monday, July 13, 2020. This meeting is now called to order. Mayor, would you lead us in the salute to the flag, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of
Flag
America,
of the United
and to
States,
the republic for which it
the
stands,
Republic,
one nation, under God,
one nation,
indivisible,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mrs. Kraus, please read the statement of public notice.
Take notice that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with NJSA 10:4-10 as follows. A notice of the meeting was prominently posted on the bulletin board at the municipal building located at 225 Main Street, Little Falls, New Jersey on January 9th, 2020. A copy of the notice is faxed to the North Jersey Herald and News and the Record on the same date. Additionally, a copy of the notice was filed in the office of the Township Clerk on said date. This meeting is being conducted under the circumstances surrounding the COVID-19 health situation. No public will be allowed to attend the meeting in person. A YouTube link to view this meeting can be accessed on the Township website at www.lfnj.com. Electronic provisions have been established for the public to participate during the public comment portion of the meeting.
Mrs. Kraus, please call a roll at this time.
Councilmember Cordner? Present. Councilmember Kawadi?
President.
Councilmember Sieber? Present. Councilmember Vanchery?
President.
Council President Scoba.
I'm present. Could I have a motion to open the meeting to public comment?
So moved.
It was moved by Council Member Marie Cordner, second by Council Member Chris Vanchery. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Mrs. Kraus?
Anyone wishing to address the Township Council may do so by sending an email to ckraus@lfnj.com. The email must provide your name and address for the record. At this time, there will be a 10-minute recess, which will allow the public to send comments and questions via email. At the end of the recess, the meeting will reconvene and all proper emails will be read into the record. The council president will determine if a response is needed, and if so, shall direct said response. Once the process is complete, we'll return to the regular order of business.
So at this time, we will recess and we will return 7:13. Thank you. Okay, thank you, everyone, for your patience. We are now back. Mrs. Kraus, at this time, do you have any emails that are being submitted to you?
Yes.
Are those from Dr. Ellie Abdi and Mrs. Renee? Renee?
Yes, those are the only two.
Those are the only two? Okay. So the first email from Renee Shapiro is regarding, is the home rehab program still available, and what are the details for this program? Mr. Kusiak, can you comment on this?
Yes, Council President. We currently have a home improvement program. It may not be the one that Mrs. Shapiro is referring to from the past. It is the one that we have operated now since we have been approved for the COA program. It is on our website. There's a flyer there, but briefly, it's open to homeowners and renters for occupied units. Eligible improvements are for roofing, plumbing, heating, and electric, structural repairs, and weatherization. It does require an inspection by an inspector. The maximum loan is $22,000, and the minimum loan is $8,000. There is no percentage interest to pay, and the loan is paid when the title changes. On the website, you'll find on our website, you'll find another website to go to, and that is www.hip.cgph.net. Those are the people that administer the program for us. Or if you'd like to make a phone call and speak with them directly, you can call 609-664-2781.
Thank you, Mr. Kusiak, for the follow-up to that question. Ms. Shapiro, if that's not what you think we were addressing, please get back in touch with us and we'll follow up with you. The next email the mayor is going to read is from Dr. Eli Abdi, and then he'll follow up with any other email correspondences that he received that he feels fit should be brought to the council's attention. Mayor?
Yes, thank you, Council President. The email that was received indicates it came to my attention that defunding the police was raised by a few residents. According to Princeton University, those who argue that the police have no role in maintaining safe streets are arguing against lots of stronger evidence. Both presidential candidate Joe Biden and President Donald Trump opposed defunding the police forces, in addition to U.S. Senator Cory Booker, who said that he understood the sentiment behind the slogan but would not use it. Most Americans do not support defunding the police. A YouGov opinion poll found that fewer than 20% of American adults supported funding cuts, and in a poll conducted by ABC News, 34% of U.S. adults supported the movement to defund the police, and 64% opposed it. Wall Street Journal assessed that from the slogan defunding the police to removing statutes and renaming buildings of historical figures from Christopher Columbus to Winston Churchill is a trend established by young Americans, mostly under age of 25. At the local level, I must mention the Christie's era, when good people of New Jersey thought by defunding education, the taxes would slash. In reality, it was opposite. Taking away funding from law enforcement will make neither Little Falls nor any other city any safer. There are still people who do evil and victimize others. Given this basic truth, defunding the police would be devastating for people. At this time, I would like to thank the Little Falls Police for keeping my town safe. As I go to sleep every night, I think of those brave police officers who are on 46 and elsewhere to protect my sweet dreams. Sincerely, signed by Dr. Eli Abdi.
Would you like to address that, Mayor, please?
Yes, and I don't want to, I know at the last meeting I had a lot of comments regarding defunding the police. I do and would reiterate each and every single one of those again here tonight, but for purposes of brevity, again, I fully support our local police department here in Little Falls. They do an absolutely incredible job keeping us safe. I certainly also sleep better at night knowing that they are out there ensuring our safety and well-being every day and every single night. So I want to thank Dr. Abdi for her email.
Thank you, Mayor. I think we have another email addressed to you as Mr. Mayor. Do you have that, Mayor?
I do, Council President.
Can you address that? Just give us a second, Mr. Fernandez. and we'll-
Yes, here it is. This is Louis Fernandez from 54 Harrison Street. Mr. Mayor, how come we are still having the council workshop on live stream? Please do not give me the same excuse you gave me the last time I asked. The stores are open, so are the malls. You can go to a diner, you can attend concerts in the park, you can go to the farmer's market, you can attend rallies, protests with hundreds of people, you can go to work and rub shoulders every day with your coworkers, but you cannot express your opinions or comments face-to-face with your elected officials. You all should be ashamed. This is a total lack of representation. Little Falls hasn't had a case of the Chinese flu, a Chinese virus, or death in a while, thank God. Time to open City Hall, or we may just have to go to the basement like Joe Biden and stay there for decades. Thanks.
Mayor, would you like to address, I gather, Mr. Fernandez would like to come and attend the council meetings as well as see the municipal building be open for business.
Sure. So it is our intentions to reopen the municipal building in the near future. However, again, gathering indoors, so most of the comments that Mr. Fernandez made in here have to do with gatherings that are outdoors. As far as you can go to a diner, you can certainly go to a diner. However, you're limited to eating outdoors only right now. You can go to concerts in the park. However, those are happening outdoors right now. You can go to a farmer's market, again, happening outdoors right now. The only thing that Mr. Fernandez mentioned in here are stores and malls, which you certainly can go to. I can tell you, I have not been going to the mall. I have no interest, now, certainly while there's, some things that I may like to purchase at a mall, I have no interest in going to a mall to be closer to people than I absolutely need to be at this time. Anyone that believes that this, as you called it, the Chinese virus, although now more recently referred to as COVID-19 or coronavirus, anyone that says it's not real can move their head down south on a map and look to states like Florida, who had the single largest number of positive cases in one given day, and I believe yesterday was over 15,500 new positive cases. Just because we have been locked down and shut down to the extent that we have been is the reason that we've only had one positive case in the past couple of weeks. That fortunately, thank God, we have not had a recent death here in Little Falls. So to say that we should forget everything that's happened over the past few months, go right back to normal at the snap of a finger, I think is doing a disservice. And it is my and this council's responsibility to make sure that the people of this township remain safe. And it's our responsibility to either close parks or to prohibit certain types of gatherings, even though they may be allowed by the state at certain times, which is actions that we have taken. And it's these types of things that have allowed our numbers to be incredibly low. I want to thank the residents of Little Falls for keeping our numbers as low as they have been. In Passaic County, there's only one town that has had lower figures than us, and that's Ringwood. They are the only municipality within this county, all 16 towns, that have had a lower figure of positive cases than Little Falls has. And I want to thank the residents in Little Falls for doing all that they have to protect themselves and others from catching COVID-19. That said, I still stand by, at least at this moment, and that does not mean that it's not subject to change, because eventually we do need to reopen. Eventually we do need people back here in these seats. And frankly, I can't wait for that time to be back to, forget this phrase new normal, I can't wait to be back to normal when this is no longer a thing. Just as the Spanish flu is no longer a thing, measles, mumps, all of those no longer a thing. I can't wait to get back to that. Unfortunately, COVID-19 is still very real. We have certainly increased our cleaning in this building. We have more than, quadrupled the amount of times that the DPW is in this building over the course of a day. We are using new state-of-the-art technology in sprays, in fogging machines to make sure that viruses and bacteria can't grow on surfaces. And while that all sounds great, the fact that we're all in this room, I'm not sure if anyone has noticed walking around in public, the number of people that believe a face mask is a chin guard. The people that don't cover their noses with their mask. The people who don't cover their mouths but somehow still have it dangling around their ears. Frankly, I am not okay and I am not willing to put myself in a position, forget me, I don't care about me, I don't want to bring it home to my wife and my children. Children are now becoming more affected than ever due to COVID-19. I am unwilling to put myself or my family in that position so that people can come here, stand here in person and grandstand before myself and this council, putting everybody at risk because they don't want to send an email, although apparently those who want to provide comment at each council meeting have been able to do so, such as yourself. You have not been limited to your comments. In fact, follow-ups that you have sent at prior council meetings have also been addressed, although not addressed within the original 10-minute period that we provide. So there has been absolutely no limiting of anybody's ability to make comments here. And in case you were wondering, this was a very different answer than I gave at our last council meeting, and I hope this was sufficient.
Thank you, Mayor. Do you have any emails at this time you'd like to bring forward to the council?
I do, Council President. I actually received one more, actually very nice email. It is from Councilwoman Lorraine Pellegrin from Elmwood Park. She sent it not as her role as a councilwoman, but in her personal life, needing some assistance from our EMS who provides services to Elmwood Park, and I would just like to read that for the record.
Go ahead, Mayor.
Sure. It says, "Dear Mayor, I live in Elmwood Park, and I also serve our community as a councilwoman. On April 9th, I had to call an ambulance for my husband who was feeling very ill. He had difficulty breathing. I can't say enough about how your members attended to my husband. They were all so professional and caring and very kind to us. I knew my husband was in such good care. I hope in some small way you can recognize these individuals who bring pride to your team. As a councilwoman, I get the chance to work with Jack at our department head meetings. He always shares important information with us, and he is such a caring individual to work with. After a 12-day stay at the hospital, Pete came back home to us. I will never forget the kindness that was shown to us on that very scary day. With much gratitude and appreciation, signed by Lorraine and Peter Pellegrin." Councilwoman, thank you for this very nice email. Unfortunately, as you know, as your role as councilwoman in Elmwood Park, many of the emails and communications that we get over a course of a day are negative in the sense that people are requiring help, looking for assistance, and the thanks is oftentimes not there. I want to thank you for reaching out to me and this council to advise us of, the unfortunate situation that you had, but the very good experience that you had with it. I certainly admire the work that our EMS and EMTs have really done, especially over these past handful of months with COVID ever so prevalent. They certainly were putting their lives on the line to make sure that those who needed help were able to get the transports to the hospital, were there to get the assistance they needed. And while so many other cities and municipalities had their volunteer programs temporarily suspended during this time, Little Falls was able to provide its services not only here at home in Little Falls with incredible response times, but also to your community there in Elmwood Park under our shared services agreement. I am absolutely thrilled to say that as of today, we do not have one EMT that contracted COVID during the entire crisis thus far. I'm going to knock on wood and be thankful for that so far and hope that that trend continues while, again, we continue through this COVID-19 crisis, which remains very real. So it is through our Chief, Jack Sweezy, his procedures and policies, and really the caring and thoughtful nature of all of our EMTs and making sure that they remain safe as well as those that they've transported remain safe, and ensuring that none of them have contracted this horrible virus to date. And I want to commend our local Little Falls Fire Department and the EMS and EMTs for all that they have done through this entire crisis and helping us here in Little Falls as well as our surrounding communities who we have shared service agreements with. So thank you all.
Thank you, Mayor. Does the council have any comments or questions regarding the emails that were sent in this evening? Can I have a motion to close the public comment?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Coordinator, second by Councilmember Vanchery. All those in favor of closing the public comment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. At this time, Mr. Kusia, would you like to discuss item number 1, resolution canceling taxes on property known as 110 East Woodcliff Ave, the resolution and why that property is being acquired?
The property was acquired by the township. It's adjacent to the pump station that we have there, and in order for us to make repairs to the pump station, we had to expand the footprint. So we will be taking that property. The reason that we are canceling taxes is because, obviously, we've purchased the property and taxes are no longer required.
Very good. Are there any questions regarding resolution number 1? Are there any questions regarding the bill list? Can I have a motion to approve resolutions A and B?
So moved.
Okay, moved by Councilman Vanchery, second by Councilman Kawadi. All those in favor, of approving, all those approving resolutions A and B, Mrs. Kraus, I'm sorry, call the roll.
Councilmember Coordinator? Yes. Councilmember Kawadi?
Yes.
Councilmember Sieber,
Yes.
Councilmember Vanchery?
Yes.
Council President Scoba?
Yes, I apologize for that. This is the first meeting I'm using my iPad, and I'm a little bit flustered, so I apologize for that. Council topics for discussion. We'll start with Council Member Vanchery.
Thanks, Council President. I just want to mention that last meeting I talked about some next steps from a Transportation Committee standpoint, and what I did over the last couple weeks is pull together a letter for both Jacobus Avenue as well as Van Pelt Place that are now with Mayor Damiano's for review. What we're going to do is, in light of the fact that we can't have a town hall and physically bring people in the municipal buildings, what we're going to set up is sort of a meeting on both streets to discuss with the residents, and on separate dates, of course, the speed humps that we are proposing, as well as the suggested locations of the speed humps, because on Jacobus we'll have more than we will on Van Pelt. So what we're hoping to do is have myself, the mayor, Council President Scoba, as well as Chief Post and any member of the traffic department, if they're available, as well as Mr. Lemanowitz, our township engineer, to meet with the residents on the street, social distancing, of course, in an open area where we can discuss everything and make sure that they're comfortable with the approach so we can move ahead with hopefully installing these speed humps sometime this year. Once we get through the two streets, I kind of call this as phase one. Phase two, I'm looking to do the same thing around the four-way stop signs that we were proposing to earlier this year. Again, in light of not being able to do a town hall, if we could set something up and meet with the residents on the proposed streets, we'll do that. So more to come on that. So, Mayor, when you get a chance to review those letters, just let me know, and we'll finalize them. And once we do, ideally, I'd have hopefully DPW can hand deliver those to the residents on both streets so we can coordinate that. A couple other things real quick I just wanted to mention is residents that are watching, the Recreation Department over the last month or so has sent out registration for the fall programs that are taking place, including soccer and track and field. So if you haven't done so at this point, the deadlines are coming up in July and August for soccer. It's July, and then August is track and field. So if you can register your children, it starts from pre-K up until the 8th grade. The rec department is now taking that over, and it's good to see the program going forward, and hopefully we'll get some decent number of registrations. Last and least, I just want to say I got to give kudos to Councilwoman Sieber. I've gone to the farmers market every weekend and just continue to see the great vendors that are there. Yesterday, I believe they had 22, if I'm not mistaken. So just want to say kudos to Councilwoman Sieber as well as Christine Haplitz for the great work they've been doing, because I think the residents really appreciate it. And, the highest form of flattery, I think, too, is when you see some neighboring towns looking to do the same thing. So they want to emulate the best. So congratulations to Councilwoman Sieber on all the great work. That's it for me.
Councilmember Vanchery, thank you for your thorough report. Councilmember Quaddi.
Thank you, Council President. I also was at the farmers market yesterday with the Domestic Violence Prevention Committee. This year we had planned to do a large number of outreach events, the Memorial Day Parade and the block party that Little Falls Biz does, et cetera. We were looking forward to having a presence at those events, and obviously the COVID situation changed that. But we were at the farmers market yesterday for the first time, and we will be at several upcoming farmers markets, not every single one, but I'm so proud of our committee for coming out and representing the organization, raising awareness, especially during this time when people are spending more time at home and victims are more at risk. It's so important for us to just let the community know that we are out here to help people and give them information on getting the help that they need for either themselves or a loved one. So if you do see us at the farmers market in the future, please stop by and thank our volunteers and take some information if you know somebody who may be at risk. But as Councilman Vanchery said, kudos to Councilwoman Seaver for all of her hard work on the farmers market. It's been a huge success, and I think we're all very proud of the job that she's been doing. And yesterday was the biggest one so far, as I'm sure she'll talk about. And it's just, when an event like that is growing week to week, you know it's a big service to our community. A couple other things quickly. The town cleanups have been continuing. Kudos to the DPW members who have been doing that on the weekends, thanks to our Clean Streets grant. The town is looking cleaner. We still have work to do, but it is a big step in the right direction. I hope that we're able to plan a town cleanup in September if again, COVID decides that we're going to be able to do that. So we'll be waiting for some guidance on whether or not that would be appropriate or not. And lastly, we have 3 movie nights coming up in August. I think we've observed that social distancing can apply outside. Obviously, we will be asking people to socially distance and wear masks, but those events will be August 12th, the 19th, and the 26th. We are still finalizing which films are going to be shown, but we're looking forward to those dates. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you for that report, Councilman Quaddi. On behalf of the mayor and the council, please send our deepest sympathies for the passing of your father-in-law, to your wife. And thank you for that hard work you're doing, you know, on the domestic violence. Whether one person stops at that tent or 100, it's important that the residents realize that there's a program here in town. So I think it's very good what you're doing with that. Councilmember.
Thank you, Council President.
Councilmember Courtney.
Yes, thank you, Council President. First, let me say thank you, Mayor Damiano, for your support and defense of the state guidelines in terms of COVID-19 and how hard you work at keeping the community safe. I echo your comments, although I couldn't say it as eloquently as you did or with the kind of fervor that you did, but I appreciate it. And let us not forget that we did lose 2 dear souls, firefighters that work for our town and probably helped save people's lives and properties. And so we must do everything we can to keep our town safe. So I wanted to thank you for that great support. I wanted to remind people about wearing masks, just as you did, that it is 100% proven that the way to be able to stay at least even or slightly out in front of this virus is social distancing and to wear a mask. And when you don't wear a mask, that means you don't care about your neighbors and you really don't care whether or not the economy really opens up, because the only way we can do that is if we follow these guidelines. So thank you very much. So I just want to give a little update on the census, which is really important, and I think we see that now in terms of the kinds of financial support our town is getting from the CARES Act, and that all comes from the kind of numbers we report in the census. But let us remember, even though we are doing better than some other towns in terms of the federal and state aid that we get, we still don't report enough, and people still don't sign on enough in order to be counted. I was part of a Zoom meeting with our councilwoman, Mikey Sherrill, and with the regional director of the Census Department, Jeff Baylor. And that region is New York, Connecticut, New Jersey, and Delaware. And the Congresswoman was very proud to be able to announce that out of all of those states, Congressional District 11 was number 2 in the percentage of people who have turned in their census, which was 73.8. In Passaic County, we are at 62.3. New Jersey as a whole is at 63.8, and Little Falls, which we are better than the state average, is at 68%. But it is so important that we get as close to 100% as we possibly can. This affects the kind of money that we get for school aid. from the federal government and from the state for repairing our roads, our bridges, even in terms of the money that we would be able to get for the Gateway Tunnel. So please, if you haven't done so, please return your census. They are going to extend the deadline for the census. I'm waiting for an update. Right now, it's at 12/31/2020, but they are looking at extending it a little bit further because they're not able to do some of the in-person things because of the virus. Also, just want to give some news in terms of our seniors. They really miss their meetings in their clubs at our Civic Center. And I want to thank Nadine Hines from our rec department, who has stayed in touch with all our seniors, and for coming up with the idea of organizing something in the parking lot so that our seniors can get back together again. And with the support of Mayor Damiano, Mr. Pace, our rec director, is out there looking for the proper tent and covering. We already had our first couple of gatherings, and we had like 13 seniors, and it looks like we're going to get more. And we're figuring out ways for them to do some of the activities that they enjoy besides socializing with each other, and to go back to doing some weekly arts and crafts, all with social distancing and being safe in mind. And lastly, let me just add my congratulations to Councilwoman Sieber and to Christine Havlitz for a fabulous job at a top-notch farmers market. I go every week. I buy more and more stuff every week. The quality of the vendors is really excellent. And don't go to the imitation. Go to the original, and that's our farmers market. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Coordinator. You're absolutely right with the census. Census reminds me of when it comes to like election time and residents don't vote and the person wins that they don't want that person to win. And you ask them, say, why didn't you vote? And they shrug their shoulders. The census is very important, and you're absolutely right on target that we must partake in that because it definitely would help this community going forward if those numbers are exact as possible. You kind of stole my thunder a little bit with the mayor. Yes, you're absolutely right. The mayor's done a wonderful job during COVID. Little Falls is open for business. The actual physical building is not, but the staff is here to help the residents. The mayor is always on. I don't know any other mayor that works as much as Mayor Damiano. You can email him or call him. He's available. The planning board through the chairman and the mayor is continuing. Business is going on. There's been no stop here with continuing of activities and no backlog. There's been a few glitches here and there, but those glitches the mayor got on top of and worked out. Well, Councilmember Sieber, you got a lot of acclimates this evening, so you're up. I'm sorry, did I say councilman? I'm sorry, Councilmember Sieber. I'm sorry.
I didn't catch it. So thank you very much. Very appreciative. I'm actually going to start with the Little Falls Library. So I just want to let everybody know that the Little Falls Public Library is now open. We did open to the public at a 25% capacity as of July 6th. I really want to send out big appreciations to our library director, Kristen Blumberg, as well as our board president, Ann Kawadi, for making this happen. Normal hours are resumed. And again, all summer programming is still done virtually too. And we still offer curbside pickup for anybody who feels comfortable that way. In addition, our children's librarian, Linda Bellin, is also still offering story time at the park, and that is available for all ages. The sessions take place Tuesday, 11 a.m. at Memorial Park on Wilmore Road, and also Thursdays at 11 a.m. on the front lawn of the library. And if anybody feels comfortable staying home, it is also on Facebook Live. So these sessions will be running through August 4th. So very excited to see our library coming back into fruition and our events continuing to happen. So some great things on that. Also, just a quick update, Municipal Alliance, it is summertime. This is a school year type program, so looking for Municipal Alliance to continue once September hits, so this is on hiatus at this point. And then just moving on to farmers market, much appreciation for the appreciations, but these events could not be successful without the support from our mayor and our council members. And all of you have done that 100%, and I cannot appreciate all of you publicly enough and privately, because it makes a huge difference. It was a vision of myself as well as Christine Havlitz to bring this to town as of last fall, well before COVID was even a word or coronavirus ever even was discussed. So this hard work really has come to fruition, and we have doubled in size in just a short 7 weeks, and we look forward to continuing it. So do just want to remind everybody that, it's Sundays 9 to 2 through October 18th. Social distancing has been very successful at the market. Masks are required. No dogs are permitted. We are continuing to add additional vendors every week. So we do feel that if you are comfortable, please come out and check the market. It is at 225 Main Street, which is at the Town Hall parking lot. Any questions, or if any vendors are interested, you can reach out to me at my email at tseaver@lfnj.com. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Councilmember Seaver, I see you also have the CERT team there every Sunday, as well as Officer Janduso, and assistance from the DPW. I saw Mr. Seuss, I think, putting out the barrels. That's correct?
That is correct. So I've actually visited, and I have been a long shopper of many farmers markets in the past. That is how I shop. I love to shop locally and support local businesses, support local farmers. The success of these markets greatly depend on the support. Not only the support from the mayor and council, but also the support of other township and volunteers. And that includes our Sergeant Dan Gianduso and our OEM CERT team. Our CERT team is above notch. I cannot speak more highly about them. They help anything from direct traffic to making sure everybody's adhering to social distancing, and just keeping people happy and talk to everybody. They are our top-notch volunteers, and I'm so proud that they are with our town. On top of that, our DPW has done a phenomenal job. They are there every week, setting up our garbage and our recycling, the barriers. They come in and check. We do have a bathroom available for vendors only. They are making sure that is cleaned very regularly for their safety. So top-notch job from the DPW also. There are always so many unsung workers behind these events, and could not talk highly enough about all of them. Again, the success of this is just while I might be the first name that comes up, or Christine Havlitz's name is the first name that comes up, there are so many other people that help support this and make this successful, and I am truly grateful for all of them.
Thank you for filling in the residents and the council and the mayor on all the activities that's going on with the farmers market and Municipal Alliance, as well as our great library. It's great to hear that the library is open and ready for people to take out books, magazines, and use the computers. Mayor Damiano, do you have anything else for this evening?
Yes, Council President, actually, 2 more emails came in from Mr. Fernandez, one of them at 7:29 p.m. and the second at 7:34 p.m. Just, again, reaffirming my point that although public comment has technically closed, anybody that has questions or concerns during these council meetings certainly has them addressed. And with your permission, I'll address them now because...
catch up to you, Mayor. Give me 1 second. Okay, great. Mayor, you want to address what Mr. Fernandez said?
Sure. The first email that came in at 7:29 p.m. was, can you give us a follow-up on the huge amount of garbage that was in front of a private house on Harrison Street? And the second, in line with that exact message, came in at 7:34, indicating, you told me that a violation had been issued. Can you tell us the amount and if it was prorated by the number of days that this big pile of garbage was on a public street? Thanks. So the brief answer is, As I had indicated to Mr. Fernandez, a violation had in fact been issued. The violation was issued on the same day that the garbage was put to the curb and the same day that actually even prior to Mr. Fernandez originally reaching out to me, advising me of the issue in his neighborhood. I then, again, forwarded it to our code enforcement, who advised me that, again, the violation was already issued prior to me even reaching out to them, which was within seconds of Mr. Fernandez contacting me. That said, the violation was issued, and residents have 10 days to remediate or address, or in this case, clean up the garbage in front of their home prior to a court summons being issued. The garbage in front of that home was addressed within 4 days, so therefore no court summons was issued. When a violation is issued, it simply puts that individual on notice that they must correct that issue within 10 days. That was done, therefore no court summons was issued, and I believe that addresses the question and concern raised by Mr. Fernandez.
So Mayor, getting back to this, Mr. Fernandez, so there was no dollar amount issued with the violations because the residents made good on picking up the litter, however, or the garbage, as you state. However, if this happens again, I guess that, do we go through the same process, Mayor, where the resident has another 4 days to pick up the garbage, or a second notice makes this an automatic court appearance?
Correct. No, it's a new summons will be issued. They have 10 days to remediate, and then a notice of violation will be issued. They have 10 days to fix it, or a court summons is issued. In this case, Council President, it was individuals cleaning out a house. I believe they may have been moving at that time, so the house was cleaned out. A lot of the garbage that was inside was put to the curb. In this case, it probably should have required a dumpster, which I don't know how they addressed it or removed it, but they did, whether it was by dumpster or by several trips to, a dump somewhere to have it removed, but they did correct.
So, Mr. Fernandez, even though public comment was over, we recognize that this is challenging sometimes for individuals to think of all the questions instead of being in the audience, but we entertained your questions, and we hope your answer, the mayor's answer, was satisfactory to you. Anything else, Mayor?
That is all, Council President.
Would you like to talk about the concerts in the park, Mayor?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, no, and I should clarify, no other emails have come in. As far as the concerts in the park, they continue each Thursday. Somehow, some way, the weather has been very much with us on Thursdays and on Sundays for our concerts and our farmers markets. Our concerts in the park have continued to be very well attended. Announcements are made at the beginning of each of these concerts lately that face masks and coverings are required when social distancing is not possible. Many of the residents, especially over the past week, have been much better about it. There were some concerns raised early on. I did not attend the first concert or two this year because of the planning board and some other prior commitments, but I did attend this past week, and I will say a majority of the residents, if they weren't eating or drinking something, did have their face coverings on. Time Machine played this week. They were outstanding. I thought they absolutely rocked the park. I know we have I believe it's another 7 weeks of concerts remaining this year. 6 or 7 weeks, don't quote me on that, but I know we have a great lineup on Thursdays. The concerts start at 7 p.m. at Wilmore Park. We encourage people to get there a little bit early. There's usually some food, some other things to look at, and some other little things that you could buy. But there's the Scouts have been there lately selling hot dogs and sausages and things like that. Always a big hit, very affordable, and the concerts have been outstanding. So I encourage our residents, especially if you feel like you've been cooped up at home lately, get there, get to the concerts. You can certainly, if you're afraid to be too close to anyone, sit towards the back a little bit. You can spread out a little bit more if you need to, but the concerts have been outstanding, and I encourage all of our residents to get there as the year continues. And again, hopefully that weather will stay with us on Thursdays and Sundays.
Thank you, Mayor. Mrs. Kraus, let the record show that Chief Post is on this meeting. Tom Lemanowicz, our engineer, and our counselor, Joe Wenzel. Mr. Wenzel, do you have anything for us this evening? I don't think so. Okay. So can I have a motion to...
I do not.
Okay, thank you, Counselor. Can I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Sieber, second.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Vanchery. All those in favor of closing this meeting tonight signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying nay. This meeting is now closed. Thank you for all those who watched.